Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're going on a journey that I think it fundamentally shifts the entire landscape of world epic mythology.
It really does, because there's one name that dominates.
Exactly. When you think of the great heroes of ancient Persia, of the Shahnameh,
Yeah.
the Book of Kings, you think of Rostam, the invincible, right? The ultimate champion.
Always Rostam.
But what if we told you he wasn't the original? That he was, well, merely the magnificent heir to a colossal figure whose power was, mythologically, even greater.
And that is the essential context we're going to unlock. We're talking about Garshasp. He's the great-grandfather of Rostam, and his deeds are not just legendary, they are foundational.
Foundational. I like that word.
Yeah. I mean, if you want a shortcut to the deeper layers of Iranian mythology, you have to get that Garshasp lived in an age where heroes fought monsters so immense they literally created geography.
So our mission today is really to pull Garshasp out of Rostam's massive shadow and give him the focus his sheer power demands. Okay, let's unpack this. Because the epic poets, they were meticulous about lineage and power. And they make some pretty bold claims about Garsasp's physical superiority over his descendant.
They absolutely did. And it's an unusual narrative choice to position the ancestor as mightier than the lineage's peak, but it roots the family's power in a much more primeval age.
So who was he?
He was the son of Zav, the grandson of Samneramin, and he was described as just standing taller than any man who ever lived, period.
And crucially, the tools of their trade, they get measured against each other. Rostam's famous club, the Gurs, is legendary.
It is, but Garsasp's war club was said to be heavier. It required a strength that, the poems imply, even Rostam couldn't have matched.
And that extends even to their horses,
Yeah.
which is often a perfect reflection of the hero's own spirit.
100%. Rostam rode Rash, the faithful, but Garshasp, he rode Shabrang, the night-colored. And the legends claim Shabrang was definitively faster, more tireless.
Just on another level.
A whole other level.
So that sets the stage perfectly. We have a champion operating on a different scale. But maybe the most important difference wasn't physical strength, it was motivation.
Yes, it's a core distinction. He wasn't a mercenary, he wasn't a political agent, which Rostam sometimes had to be.
Right. So when the king of India is desperate, he offers Garshasp half his royal treasury to kill this monster.
And Garsasp's reply is just definitive. It tells you everything about him as a hero.
He says, I do not fight for treasure.
I fight for the name that will outlive the treasure.
That tells you everything. His pursuit was purely for glory, for immortal memory. It suggests, a purer form of heroism.
It's much simpler, yeah. It's focused purely on the deed over any kind of statecraft. And that intent, that purity, leads us right into his first, most spectacular feat, the Dragon of Hindustan.
Okay, let's talk scale here. Because when we read about dragons in most myths, they're big, they're formidable, but this beast sounds like a geological terror.
That's the perfect way to put it. It lived in Hindustan, so India, and it had wings of bronze and horns of pure gold. Just imagine that.
A creature made of metal and fire.
And it was a walking environmental disaster. The sources say that every single dawn, it would wake up and breathe out once. And that one breath
Would turn an entire city to ash.
an entire city instantly. I mean, how do you even begin to fight something like that?
Well, the fight itself wasn't a quick strike. It was a brutal 3-day endurance test. And on day 1, Garshasp learns a very painful lesson about underestimating this thing.
Oh, it was an immediate, staggering reversal. The dragon strikes him with its tail, not even its teeth or its fire, its tail, and hurls him 100 leagues through the air.
100 leagues. You have to just internalize what that means. You're being flicked across an entire landscape.
This isn't just a tough fight. It's a monumental displacement of the hero.
But the core of heroism is resilience, right? Garshasp always comes back.
Yeah.
So day 2, he returns, and the sources say he was roaring like 1,000 lions.
An amazing image. And on the second day, he finally draws blood. He shatters one of the dragon's golden horns with a single devastating blow.
And then day 3, the finale.
It's just a scene of utter mythological excess. Garshasp manages to get close. He leaps onto the dragon's massive neck, and he brings his mace down like the judgment of heaven.
Severing the head. But here's the crucial takeaway. This is what separates Garshasp from almost every other hero. Rostam might save a king or conquer an army, but Garsasp's victory, it literally altered the planet.
Precisely. The sources claim the dragon's blood poured out so thick and so hot that it physically carved a new depression in the earth. That depression filled with water.
creating a new sea.
And the old storytellers called it the Sea of Dragon's Blood. His deed permanently changed the map. That puts him in that primal creation era of mythology. He's an original world shaper.
So after you've carved a sea with dragon gore, what's next? I mean, where do you go from there?
Well, his second legendary deed takes us from India to the dark, mist-shrouded forests of Mazandaran, and he faces a different kind of elemental threat, the colossal bull.
If the dragon was fire and scale, the bull was what? Just sheer destructive mass.
Exactly. It was described as being the size of a mountain. Its horns weren't just bone, they were ancient cedar trees. And its eyes were molten lakes of fire.
It's an incredible visceral image. And the destruction it caused was, well, it was gravitational. The ground would split open wherever it walked.
Swallowing entire armies. And Garshasp, of course, goes alone.
And again, we see this 3-day battle motif. It shows these victories aren't quick or easy. They're earned through sheer suffering and persistence.
And day one proves how hard it was. The bull charges, and the force is so immense it drives Garshasp right into the earth, pins him up to his waist.
Just imagine that. The mightiest hero stuck in the mud, staring up at this mountain of muscle.
But by day two, he's recovered. He gets a tactical advantage, climbs onto the beast's back, and just starts hammering it with his mace. The texts say he broke half its ribs with these thunder blows.
And the end on day 3 is just monumental. He gets between those giant cedar horns and splits the monster from crown to tail.
But what's fascinating here is what happens next, the practical result. He doesn't just walk away.
Right. He uses the carcass.
Exactly. He has the hide of this mountain-sized bull taken and forged into armor. And the sources claim this armor was so thick, so powerful, that no arrow could ever pierce it.
It grants him practical invulnerability for the rest of his life.
It's a powerful mythological concept, isn't it? The hero literally incorporates the strength of the monster he defeats. He wears its essence. It's another layer of his champion status.
And that armor would serve him well, because even the mightiest heroes get old. Garshasp had to face new threats, even with a gray beard reaching his belt.
Indeed. His final great combat shifts from these elemental monsters to a political and demonic one, the wicked king of Zabul.
A descendant of the tyrant Zahak, the snake-shouldered king. So he carries that dark, tyrannical lineage.
And he brings an army of black divs demons with iron claws and terrifying elephant heads. And out walks Garshasp, this old man in his invincible bullhide armor, alone.
The scene is almost designed to be ironic. The youngest div sees him and just mocks him.
Yeah, he shouts, "Look, an old man comes to die," which, was a bad move.
A very bad move. The sources describe a whirlwind of destruction. His strength, even in old age, was astronomical. Every swing of his club felled 100 divs.
It's just impossible to picture, but that's the force the poets insisted on.
And the climax of this battle is one of the most vivid images of his entire career.
It really is. The greatest of the divs, this winged giant with an elephant trunk, grabs him and lifts him high into the sky.
Mid-air combat against a winged elephant demon. You can't make this stuff up.
But Garshasp doesn't panic. He just drives his mountain-crushing mace straight into the demon's eye.
The giant crashes to earth, and Garshasp takes its head.
And when the king of Zabul sees this literal mountain of dead demons, he just surrenders, falls to his knees and cries out, "You are no mortal, you are a god."
But Garshasp's reply, this encapsulates his whole identity, his role in the epic. What does he say?
He says, "I am only an Iranian." It's such a powerful statement. It grounds all that mythological force in the identity of the people. He's not a god. He's the pinnacle of human potential. He is the standard.
You would expect a man like that, a man who carved a sea, wore impenetrable armor, killed dragons and demons, to die in some epic final battle.
Surrounded by 1,000 foes, yeah. But the end of Garshasp's story it's strangely beautiful and quietly ironic.
It's the ultimate fate of the invincible hero, isn't it? The sources say he simply ran out of enemies brave enough to face him.
He was sitting by a quiet river one afternoon, just lamenting that the world had run out of monsters. He was essentially bored to death.
And then what killed him? Not a dragon, not a div.
A tiny black serpent. Just a little worm that slid from the water and bit his ankle.
The irony is perfect.
It's perfect. He looks down at it, smiles sadly, and his final words are, "So my death comes from a worm, not from dragons or divs." He just closes his eyes and sleeps forever.
A quiet end for the ultimate force of nature. And yet, his power didn't just dissipate with his death. His people built him a massive tomb in Sistan, and his legacy, It continues to define heroism.
Absolutely. The continuing belief is maybe the most enduring part of his story, that any warrior, even today, who sleeps one night beside Garsasp's tomb,
Dreams of mighty battles and wakes stronger than before.
his essence, his courage is literally transferable. He is the source code for heroism in this tradition.
Which is why Ferdowsi, the poet who codified the Shahnameh, made sure Garshasp's place was secure, even while he was writing all about Rostam.
Ferdowsi gave him the ultimate praise. He cemented his place, he wrote. Garshasp they called the champion of the world, the one who raised Iran's name higher than the sun, long, long before the coming of Rostam.
He wasn't just a hero, he was the definition of what a hero should be.
The standard.
So this deep dive has shown you that to understand the true epic tradition, you have to look beyond the most famous names. Garshasp provides the fundamental context for all the champions who came after.
It really explains why the standards of heroism in the Shahnameh are so incredibly high. They were set by a man who literally fought the forces of creation.
And on that note, since his legendary power is still said to strengthen warriors, and he died lamenting that the world had run out of monsters, we'll leave you with this. What modern threat, what colossal monster of our time do you think Garshasp would be most sad to have missed fighting? Something that, unlike a small serpent, truly deserves the full weight of the mountain-crushing mace. Keep that thought with you as you walk away armed with the knowledge of the original world champion.